in different faces, but they'll never understand.
What would you do if you knew you only had a year left to live? What would you do if you knew that your childhood was about to end? What would you do if you could write a letter to the world? My childhood ended before I even knew what a childhood was. At 6 months old, when I lost my entire family in Uganda. And now, speaking to you, my childhood is about to end again. This is a story of a once-in-a-lifetime chance, of a boy who died twice, who's been given one chance, a year break of life to live. 7 regions of the world, learning from CEOs to street vendors and everyone in between. From China to the Amazon rainforest, I want us to see that we are people, not passports. So join me on this adventure with my trendies and let us write a letter to the world. And I'll tell you how you can also have a global, transformative adventure like me. This is our Gossip Girl moment. I used to be so scared of flying growing up. As I've gotten older, I think I realized the plane was not what scared me. It was the trust. It was that the only people I've ever known could be gone in an instant, and that waiting for me at the arrivals gate could be an entirely new life, an entirely new me. The second time that my childhood passed away was when I was 15, when I lost my dad. And that childlike sense of wonder was like a lighter that got blown out with his passing. And it kind of feels like since then, I've been trying to find ways to rebuild it. But who would I be if I let what happened to me be all of me? At 15 and onwards through the pain, I had to gain an unearned confidence in my future. I moved to Canada at 15 by myself to go to UWC. I graduated and got into one of the top drama schools in the world. I moved to London by myself. I gained millions of views, which has brought many of you to me. Taylor Swift liked my post, SZA liked my post. I joined the TikTok Youth Council. I went to Fashion Week. I filmed a TV show in Japan called Worlds Apart, which I feel like that deserves its own video. And it broke records in the UK. 1 million people watched the first episode. I went to Yale summer camp and countless other things, and I met so many people. And that's all because I did not let what happened to me be all of me. At 15, I could not envision what 18-year-old me would be like. And here I am sitting talking to you, 19 years old, at the end of my childhood, again. So, you might be wondering, if I've achieved all of these things, and if my life is seemingly stable at a top drama school and these opportunities, why now take a gap from that? Why take a gap year? And why am I leaving myself and the life I knew behind? If you're anything like me, you have always felt that your life is something much bigger than just you. We live in a society full of structures, which I think can make us lose our childhood sense of wonder. We are explorers after all. And I felt that at 19 years old, this is a key time for me to think, what kind of life do I wish to have? What would I have to say to the world? And so, this journey, this adventure begins. In the land where dreams are made of, this is my letter to the American dream. Is the American dream just simply a dream? Seven-hour flight from London to Boston, I went into this adventure completely blind. I had not spoken to anyone prior to arriving, but here I was, on a bus with people from all over the world, like quite literally all over the world. And we are about to experience things that we could never even imagine, learn things that cannot be taught, and hopefully grow together to love each other as we should love ourselves. In the mountains, where trees outnumber people, you'll find that within the silence, that's where the loudest sounds of all will find you. That voice in your head that tells you, what would happen if I just run? Now, usually for me, this would be running away from something scary. But in my last year being a child, my last year as a teenager, I no longer want these monsters to be controlling my life. So I chose, and I choose, to run towards, screaming and laughing at the madness of it all. I ran through the woods with nothing but love in my heart. But little did I know, the dream that was soon to hit, or were things too good that reality was going to be the nightmare that would wait for me. Now, was the USA about to be my dream or my nightmare? Have you ever felt attached to a place you have never been? A city that just feels like when you go here, it will click. That was and has and is me with New York City. As someone who grew up in a very, very, very small village, NYC felt like Here we have Adam trying to be the main character, standing up and straight around.
Is it a video?
You're on camera. It's a video.
I'm like, should I look or not?
No, act natural. Do you have anything you want to say to the camera, to the world?
I don't have anything I want to say.
Do you have anything?
Put air conditioners in the subway.
Yeah, make New York cool again. Place of dreams. A fever dream where everyone is anyone and anyone can be anyone. The concept of a black man being a Swiftie shook some people to their very cores at home. No tea, no shade. Actually, all the tea, all the shade. The level of success that I aim and will achieve scares the average person who is unable to see their potential out of just the path, the life that they have. But in New York City, my loudness gets muffled, and with my insignificance, crush me or build me. Who even is a New Yorker? What do they look like? And why do people say New York City is the best city in the world? Well, I have just under a month in the city to try and figure out. And while I do not even have a plan of what to do, but I definitely could have never planned on getting an Oscar, releasing a TV show. Guys, we just watched a Casa de Broadway show. Crazy. And the same day today, my TV show came out in the UK. So I've been celebrating, although I'm not currently in the UK, I'm in New York. And it's so weird because so many people have been sending me like videos being like, wait, you're on TV now? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But Hadestown, I hadn't watched it before, so I didn't know the story. Why didn't no one tell me? And then she was gone. And I was like, wow. And I did what millions of New Yorkers do every day. I took the subway to see where I'd end up. And that's what I did. I just got on the subway. I feel like I'm actually getting emotional. Like, what? I'm actually
forgetting to look if I walk over the street to clear any cars.
No, I'm like so clueless. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? I actually am like so speechless right now. Like, guys, what? I need oh my gosh. This is like the date spot. Like, guys, I need to go on a date here. Like,
this is one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah. And I wrote down in my notes app, why, when we sat on the subway, do we avoid eye contact? Any sign of intimacy, acknowledging each other as human. In NYC, in the subway, I felt like a child who was lost in a big jungle with crazy things happening all around me. It was both exhilarating to me and extremely funny to see how mundane the crazy to me seemed to the local New Yorker. It made me wonder, what might someone discovering our home for the first time think?
We are here at Columbia University. We're having such main character time right now. Who knows if I end up applying to Columbia, if I end up in New York. Guys, I feel like I'm waiting for my New York era. I don't know when it will come, but someday. And there's all of these students here. It's very like relaxed environment. Everyone's been very nice. People are looking very nice. The campus is very nice. The weather's nice.
I think for anyone wishing to visit New York City, while I say it's obviously good to research and to plan for a city, but how can you plan for a city that is ever evolving? I found myself stumbling amongst the most unimaginable things.
Guys,
We're going to Central Park.
Central Park, it's so sunny. There's quite a time to, oh, we're crossing. Guys, we're now going to UWC Day. Guys, that's the reunion and it's me trying to freak it. Guys, we got food and do you speak French? How do you pronounce the street? Guys, we're at the steps of the Met Gala, of course, because Miss Serena and Vlad is iconic. Yeah. Guys, I'm really turning into performative male. Part 2. I have my matcha. I have my tote bag. We're at baseball game. First ever baseball game. Guys, this is the vlog. We are here at Columbia University. We're gonna try to go to the frat party. Someone wanna say where we are?
We're in Apollo Bagels.
What are your predictions?
We're at Apollo's Bagels. We're gonna try.
First time trying Apollo's bagel.
Yeah.
I got everything, jam and butter.
I got the everything, cream cheese and tomato. Thoughts? That's good.
It's toasted so well.
NYC felt like a living, breathing city. That being said, is it possible to be alone in an overcrowded room? I'm traveling with around 50 plus other young international people from across the world. And I'm in one of the busiest places in the world. And some may say, so busy. So why did I find myself at times feeling the loneliest I've ever felt? And alone, even in crowded rooms. I want to preface that I'll be discussing a potentially triggering subject that happened on the subway. I won't go in depth, but it does involve death. Feel free to skip this section to on my way to go and watch my first ever Broadway show after posting that my first ever TV show had just come out on Instagram. I was walking and I realized that the whole station was blocked off. I was thinking, how do I get to the Broadway show on time? And how do I navigate this ginormous city when I feel like a tiny ant? And why is the subway blocked off? Keep in mind, this is the subway roughly 5 minutes away from where I was staying. But what I did not find out until later was that a man had tragically had a horrific crime committed against him. My heart stopped. A mere couple-minute walk from my hotel, a man, a fellow human being took his last breath. And the world, the city, kept turning. Death does not end with the person. It seeps into all those that knew him, and it echoes into how we move forward with life. Trust me, I know. What shook me the most was how a mere couple hours later, once I'd finished my Broadway show and I was making my way back to the hotel, the station was up and running, and none of the people scurrying through the station had any idea about this man and that he had taken his last breath just a mere couple hours ago in this exact spot. It made me question, within the loudness of a city, if I scream out whatever I want, I have the freedom of expressing myself, as it's drowned out by others doing the same, screaming out for themselves. But within the loudness of a city, what happens when I'm screaming out for help, but you can't hear me because you're also screaming? Who is doing the listening when we're all talking? I found myself wandering NYC alone a lot, and it made me reflect on the idea of something being deemed embarrassing to do alone. I found myself thinking this many times, like, oh, I can't go, I have nobody to go with. But here in New York, there were these times where my desire was stronger than my embarrassment. So I got up and I went out. I let the city consume me and I followed my heart. Because this is my advice to you. Life is way too short for you to not live it for yourself. If you watch any of my videos or you know me, which if you're watching this now, you do know me, that I say you have to have main character energy. And I do fully believe that if you aren't living your life like the main character, then you're letting someone else live your life. How embarrassing is it to be the side character in your own life? So genuinely, if there is something you want to do and nobody wants to do it with you, just go out there and do it bigger, better, and louder so you don't notice the absence of the other people. Plus, I can nearly guarantee you that you will meet someone, have something, or have some unique kind of lore-building character story moment which will make it all so worth it. What's up, guys? We are now still in Central Park. Even me, during this travel journey, I did not tell anyone that I applied to Beret Scholars, which is what I'm currently on, as I didn't know if I was going to get into the program or if I was even going to accept a place if I got into the program. And yet, already just within the first destination, I found people and friends that I can genuinely see are molding me into being a better person. I tried my best not to develop any crushes this year for the reason I felt that took away from my main character energy, as I'd hate to look back and realize that I was trying so hard to get someone else's attention by doing things only they wanted to do, and I was not thinking about what I want to do. So, is NYC the city of love? Well, for starters, my family watches these videos, so I will not be delving too deeply into this topic on here. Because my older sisters are already trying to decode my TikToks at Trendy246, at my Instagram reels at Candy.Amory. I think in New York, I found love in unexpected ways. I will say, people in New York, they were dressed up nice. Like, I have to give credit where credit's due. And I mean, there's a reason why there's so many rom-coms, love songs written about the city. And who knows if I fell in love or if someone fell in love with me. I'm curious to know what do you guys think about NYC when first thing that comes to your mind? Because I actually came here before alone when I was 17 years old. And if you watched any of my YouTube videos, I have a video called How to Have Your Coming of Age. And I only had 5 days in New York at this time. This time I have a month, so it's a bit different. And it's been so crazy to walk down random streets and suddenly be hit by a wave of nostalgia for the child I once was. wandering around so aimlessly and alone. And now I'm coming back with newfound friends, with a new sense of confidence. Despite what many may believe now, that there are still good people out there. And here is a travel tip. Everyone has an interesting story to tell. They simply need an audience. Invest in building relationships, and you will find that people will go above and beyond. Just like the woman who also went to UWC, who gifted me and my friend 3 concert tickets for Global Citizens Festival. So I got to see Shakira, Tyler, Cardi B for free, my first week in New York. So, who is a New Yorker? My time in NYC is ending, and there's still this question. So I thought, why not ask the New Yorkers themselves if they could give one piece of advice to the world? What would they say? And this is what they had to say.
Guys, so I did end up finding someone who's very nice, very interesting. Had like such a long conversation about his life story. You know, he's been, his name's Brian from New York, but he lived in India, Sao Paulo, Casablanca, all over, being a medical engineer. And like in Nepal, he helped with building hospitals, and especially with helping them teach so they can know about different counterfeit medication and about spreading HIV medication, because apparently like the HIV AIDS that came from this wasn't being spread. And he funded himself through college. He has a single mom. He was just so interesting. And his main piece of advice that he gave me was just say yes to things, be open, live with an open mind. And the one thing that really stood with me especially was how he said that like he had no regrets in his life, and that his 30s were better than his 20s, his 40s were better than his 30s. He does not look old enough to be 45.
I asked New Yorkers if they could give one piece of advice to the world, what would they say? And this is what they had to say.
Last time tonight.
Never give up. NYC Central.
It goes like this.
Never eat at a restaurant right next to a famous landmark / attractions, unless it's a hot dog. Austin. Start saving when you're young. Even if you only save £10 a month or $10 a month, if you live in the US, get a high yield savings account rather than a regular savings account at a bank. But enjoy each day. Mary Kate, the Met said. Mary and Austin are together. Sunday 21st of September. Meal prep and freeze leftovers each time, especially before a trip, so you have food in the freezer when you come home. Robert Torres. Do things even if you're nervous, and don't settle. Jessica from Texas in Central Park. Don't ever hesitate to be yourself. Brian, NYC. Don't dress like a wizard in a park. Wizard in the park. Prospect Park. Cultivate your mind, and you'll walk like a god or goddess amongst men. Oreo Cavellos. Artist, professor at Columbia University, Washington Square Park. Never be shy to ask for help. People love to help. Gabriel, Denmark, UWC student, and also at Columbia. You are the future for you and all of the youth. And what you do can help change the world. Stay thinking with the globe in mind. This was from the digital director of the World Bank. Find your pirate ship. Joshua Zephyr. Ask lots of questions. Remember, people like to talk about themselves. Also, Joshua Zephyr. Stay away from negative people. Keep on learning, keep on traveling, love life to the fullest. Pleasure meeting you. Oh, let me read in the pleasure meeting you. And that's just some of the advice that I got. So, there you have it. Tendy's version to the answer of who is a New Yorker. Somehow, nobody, and yet everyone that lives in New York is a New Yorker. So, am I a New Yorker? No. But I do hope to, someday, as I said, I just had this feeling that me and New York, we just click, and I know that some invisible string will bring me back here. But before I wake up from my American dream, there's one last thing. The place, quite literally, of dreams, of Golden Coast, beach, suntan, a place I've dreamed of being able to visit, but I've never had the chance to until now. It's California, San Francisco. I had the opportunity with Beret Scholars to spend a week living in San Francisco, learning about startup culture and about what does it take to be an inventor. Me and California have a relationship longer than people realize. As when I was younger, my dad made a board with brilliant Black or adopted people. And do you know who was adopted? Only the man responsible for how many of you are even watching this right now. The founder of one of the largest companies in the world, whose home is in California, aka the Steve Jobs. California, to me, has always felt like a place where dreamers are encouraged to shoot for the stars. And if they fail, they shoot higher. I found this to be true, with everyone I met had an infectious sense of positivity. And if I stayed longer than a week, I would have found myself in some yoga pants, a fitness watch, a cute dog, and I'd be hitting all of the best pop-ups in Cali. Which, I would not be mad if I had that lifestyle at all. If New York City was a fast-paced rush, California was a gentle wave, where if it knocked me down, I'd simply ride another wave. In California, I truly, for the first time in a long time, found a sense of calm. So here's a little montage. I think to be oceans away from home, I found myself, and I found home can carry. I think to be oceans away from home, I found myself. I found that home can carry through the current. What would you do if you could write a letter to the world? Is the American dream true? This is what I'd say. Dear America, USA, however you wish to be addressed. You're known as the Promised land of dreams, prosperity, future, a land that's built on diversity, a land which has been built on sacrifices of others and other communities. Dear America, you're a creature that I do not think I will ever fully understand, but I do not think you're meant to be fully understood. You are ever changing, and I hope you do not forget that all the differences is what makes you beautiful. It's why you're a place for people to dream. I hope someday I too can share in that dream. Until next time, good night, America. It's time to wake up to a new day. Well, to all of you still here watching, this is only the beginning of my journey. And now I moved onto a land which contains the lungs of the earth. Maybe the best football team, and acai. And guys, I fell in love with acai. If you don't know what acai is, watch my next video or Google this free. I can literally eat it all day, every day. Anyways, make sure to stay tuned to see the next time that I went blind, like I lost my vision, like I couldn't see, in the Amazon rainforest. I took an 8-hour bus ride to get to the beach, and I avoided a government shutdown, and I ate a lot of acai. As always, stay trendy to be like trendy. This is my letter from elsewhere, my letter to you. Bye.